I don't trust my eyes because my eyes are loyal to the present. Write that down. Your eyes are faithful reporters. They are excellent journalists of what is. They will tell you the facts, the waves, the layoffs, the numbers on the screen, the headlines that won't stop scrolling. But vision is not a reporter. Vision is a ruler. Sight reports facts. Vision interprets purpose. When the world is shaking, sight screams, but vision speaks. Say this with me. My vision will speak. Now, say it like you believe it. My vision will decide. Listen carefully. The shaking is real. I'm not denying it. Companies are cutting staff. Prices rise faster than your salary can chase them. Artificial intelligence is disrupting industries you studied for 4 years. The war news cycle keeps your heart in a continual state of evacuation. Politics feels like a seesaw with no center. That's what your eyes can see. And the secret consequence of trusting your eyes in a storm is tragic. People stop building and start surviving. They pack up their imagination. They cancel their projects. They scale down their dreams to the size of their fear. Write this down. The present will recruit your imagination if you let it. And once the present hires your imagination, your future has no employees. The scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. Another translation says, cast off restraint. That means without a picture of the future, you lose discipline in the present. You stop building because your eyes convince you there is no point. But we do not walk by sight, we walk by faith. 2 Corinthians 5-7. Faith is not denial of facts. It is allegiance to purpose. Faith uses vision to interpret the facts. Say this out loud. I will not let the present cancel my future. Again, I will not let the present cancel my future. Let me give you a picture. A pilot in a storm cannot trust his eyes. In a squall, your eyes will tell you the horizon is crooked. Your altitude is wrong. You'll feel like you're climbing when you are diving. Skilled pilots survive because they fly by instruments. Vision is your instrument panel from God. Sight shows you the clouds. Vision shows you the coordinates. Sight will magnify fear because it is loyal to the present. Vision magnifies purpose because it is loyal to your assignment. Tell your neighbor, fly the plane. This is why the greatest enemy of your vision is your eyes. Not because eyes are evil, God gave them to you, but because they are limited to now. Vision is the photograph of your future trapped in your spirit. It's the blueprint that tells the storm, move, I have work to do. Habakkuk heard the instruction, write the vision and make it plain that he may run. That reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Write that down. Vision must be written because storms make you forget. Vision must be plain because panic makes things complicated. Vision must be readable because teams cannot run with what you hide in your head. So I stand before you with both a warning and a promise. The warning: if you let the present discipline your imagination, you will survive this season but lose the next one. The promise: you can build a future in unstable conditions if you stop letting the present recruit your imagination. Heaven never suspended its mandate because of a headline. The eternal command still reads, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. Genesis 1:28. That is not poetry. That is policy. That is a sequence that does not shake when the market shakes. Write this down. Stability is not the absence of shaking. Stability is obedience to a sequence. Let me be clear and corrected for a moment. Many of you have allowed 24-hour news to become your 24-hour mentor. You are discipled by alerts, trained by rumors, and governed by the gaze of your eyes. That's why your language shifted. You used to say, I'm launching. Now you say, I'm waiting. You used to say, I'm building. Now you say, I'm watching. Stop watching your life. Lead it. Vision is leadership for your own future. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. Turn that sentence upside down and start at the bottom. Purpose. Vision grows from purpose. Passion grows from vision. Inspiration flows from passion. Influence follows inspiration. Leadership is the fruit. This is not theory. This is a law. Write that down. Now hear the hope. God will never demand what he did not already deposit. If he demands fruitfulness, seed is already in you. What your eyes call scarcity, your vision calls strategy. What your eyes call danger, your vision calls development. The storm is a stage for precision. When the winds are howling, only those who know their coordinates can keep the nose up. Say this with me. I have coordinates. Again, I have coordinates. So here is what I am commissioning in your spirit. Mute the reporters in your soul. Elevate the ruler in your heart. Use your eyes as informants, not as kings. Let vision be the king. When the world is shaking, your eyes will describe the storm, but your vision must decide the direction. Decide today. Decide to build when others are bracing. Decide to plan when others are panicking. Decide to write when others are scrolling. Decide to sow when others are hoarding. Say it again until it sticks. I will not let the present cancel my future. I want you to make a confession with authority. Put your hand on your heart and say, I am not a slave to headlines. I am a steward of a future. I do not walk by sight. I walk by vision. My instruments are set. My coordinates are clear. My decision is made. Now write this final line for tonight. My eyes describe, my vision decides. And from this moment, we will let that decision govern everything that follows. Because storms bow to those who know where they are going. Now let me diagnose the disease beneath the headlines. The crisis of our time is not the economy, it is the collapse of imagination. Write that down. Economies have always risen and fallen. Empires have always rattled. There was a famine in the land. It's an old sentence in your Bible, not a new headline in your app. Uncertainty is not new. What is new is the speed and volume of information discipling you to panic by the hour. Your phone became your pastor of fear. Every 5 minutes, it is laying hands on your emotions and calling it breaking news. You're not just informed, you are formed into instability. Say this with me. I will not be discipled by alerts. Site-based living produces emotional whiplash. One headline and you are hopeful, the next headline and you are in despair. You wake up with a strategy and go to bed with a spiral because a stranger in a suit on a screen told you the wind shifted. Write this down. When sight is your leader, headlines become prophecies and trends become destiny. You treat data like scripture and rumors like commandments. You delay decisions, waiting for the algorithm to bless you. You let the trending page set your targets. That is not leadership, that is captivity. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Another way to say it, where there is no picture of the future, the present takes the leash off your discipline. You become led by conditions, not convictions. I call it the present prison. The present prison is when what you see now becomes the limit of what you believe is possible. The bars are made of facts. The warden is your eyes. You serve a life sentence because your imagination pled guilty to what is. But here Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformation is not a gift for the lucky. It is the fruit of a renewed lens. Ephesians 1:18 prays the eyes of your understanding being enlightened. You have more than two eyes. You have eyes in your heart. Say it. Lord, enlighten my inner eyes. Again, enlighten my inner eyes. Let me paint you a picture. Two builders stand on the same coastline, looking at the same forecast. Storms for the next 6 months. One reads the environment as final. He freezes the project, lays off the crew, buys more storage for the materials he intends never to use, and preaches caution as wisdom. He quotes the waves like scripture. He walks his site like a cemetery. The other builder reads the environment as temporary and adjustable through purpose-driven work. She redesigns the foundation for wind shear, orders helical piles instead of shallow slabs, angles the roof line to spill pressure, selects materials that laugh at salt. She negotiates with suppliers while others are sleeping because she understands that storms change leverage. She trains her team in drills so that chaos cannot surprise them. One asked, is it safe? The other asked, is it mine to build? They both saw the same clouds. Only one had vision. Write that down. Fear is not proof you are weak. Fear is proof you are looking with sight instead of vision. Upgrade the lens. Tell your neighbor, change the lens. 2 Timothy 1-7 declares, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A sound mind is not a quiet mind. It is a disciplined imagination. That means your mind can hold a blueprint while the wind screams. That means your creativity is not a hobby, it is your protection. Fear will visit, let it sit in the waiting room, but do not let it into the boardroom. Sign its visitors pass and keep it out of strategy. Say this out loud. I have a sound mind. Again, I have a sound mind. We have biblical evidence for this lens. Numbers 13 records 12 men sent to see the land. 10 returned with sight. 2 returned with vision. The 10 said, we saw the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. Numbers 13:33. Did you hear that? In our own sight. That is present prison language. They turned a snapshot into a sentence. But Joshua and Caleb said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able. Numbers 13:30. Same terrain, different lens. The giants were not proof they should retreat. The giants were proof there was fruit worth protecting. The grapes were so heavy they needed 2 men to carry them. Sometimes the weight of the fruit will always attract tall problems. Write that down. Big fruit draws big giants. Big vision outgrows both. Now let me correct you with love. Stop dignifying panic by calling it prudence. Panic is not strategy. It is surrender. Some of you have baptized your fear with spreadsheets. You call it market sensitivity, but it is imagination bankruptcy. You are not broke, you are blocked. Your cash flow problem is upstream from your creativity problem. Every economy still rewards those who solve problems. Every problem is a business. Say it. Every problem is a business. So the question is not, is there money? The question is, can you imagine value under pressure? Write that down. The speed and volume of information trains you to react, not to design. You scroll for 2 hours and call it research. You compare for 3 hours and call it prudence. You wait for confirmation from people who cannot imagine their own freedom. Sight seeks consensus. Vision seeks clarity. Consensus is a thermometer. Clarity is a thermostat. Thermometers describe temperature. Thermostats set it. You were not born to measure, you were born to set. Say this with authority. I set temperature. Again, I set temperature. So how do we break this present prison? We must retrain the eye behind the eye. Write this down. Imagination is a muscle. Panic is a habit. Muscles grow with resistance. Habits break with replacement. Replace your doom scroll with design sessions. Take your morning power back. Before you check the news, check your notes. Before you read the markets, read your mandate. Habakkuk 2:2 still stands. Write the vision and make it plain. Your pen is a sledgehammer on the bars of the present. When you write it, you hire your future. When you make it plain, you create an internship for your team to join your tomorrow. When you review it daily, you turn your mind from a reactor into a ruler. Let me give you a small fictional parable to lodge this in your spirit. In a small town during a downturn, 2 friends, Asher and Daniel, both lost their jobs at the same factory. Asher treated the shutdown as prophecy. She framed her life as a closing chapter. She refreshed job boards like a rosary and rehearsed failure like a sermon. Daniel treated the shutdown as a signal. The problem he kept hearing in town was simple. We can't get fresh produce on weekends. He sketched a plan on a napkin, rented a small lot, and partnered with 3 farms. He branded it First Fruit Saturday. Rain came. He adjusted with canopies. Prices rose. He created a subscription model. 2 years later, Asher is still waiting for the past to rehire her. Daniel hired 10 people, same town, same storm, different lens. Hear me, the enemy of your future is not your bank account, it is your imagination account. Fill it. Pray Ephesians 1:18 over yourself daily, that the eyes of your understanding be enlightened, that you may know the hope of his calling. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is accurate expectation anchored in calling. When hope returns, discipline returns. And when discipline returns, building begins. Say it. I am a builder. Again, I am a builder. I am confronting you because I love you. Stop letting a 20-minute press conference cancel a 20-year destiny. Use your eyes as informants, not as kings. Upgrade the lens. Refuse emotional whiplash. Break the present prison. The greatest threat in unstable times is not lack of resources. It is losing the ability to imagine and therefore to build. But tonight, heaven is restoring your interior theater. Your inner screen will light up again. You will see plans, products, partnerships, and paths inside before you ever touch them outside. And once your imagination stands up, everything else will fall in line. Now say it like you own it. My vision will decide, and my imagination will build what God has shown me. Now we lay the foundation that stops the trembling inside of you. Leadership is not a pursuit. Leadership is a product. Write this definition down and do not forget it. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. Say it slowly with me, so your spirit hears it. Purpose produces conviction. Conviction births vision. Vision motivates passion. Passion generates inspiration. Inspiration creates influence. And influence is leadership. Tell your neighbor, start at the bottom. We've been climbing the ladder from the wrong side. You keep asking for followers when you haven't found your foundation. You want influence, but you skipped inspiration. You want passion, but you missed vision. You want a vision, but you have no conviction. And you have no conviction because you never located purpose. Flip the ladder. Stop chasing titles and start excavating purpose. Proverbs 19:21 says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the purpose of the Lord that shall stand. Plans tremble, purpose stands. Write that down. Why is this critical in unstable times? Because people without purpose interpret shaking as danger. People with purpose interpret shaking as repositioning. Hebrews 12:27 speaks of the removing of those things that are shaken, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Purpose is the thing in you that cannot be shaken. When the market is tossing like a boat in a gale, purpose becomes your ballast. It gives the shaking a meaning. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this moving me into? Romans 8:28 doesn't say all things are good. It says all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Purpose turns storms into servants. Say this out loud. Storms will serve my purpose. Purpose is not a hobby. It is your original assignment. Jeremiah 1-5 records God's voice to a young man. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you. Purpose precedes birth. Ephesians 2:10 says you are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand. Before there was a downturn, there was your desire. Before there was a headline, there was your mandate. Write this down. I entered time to solve a problem. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed by someone who did. That is not an insult to jobs. It is a wake-up call to assignment. Employment pays you for time. Deployment pays the world with your purpose. Say it. I will deploy my purpose. Let me show you how purpose interprets instability. In one city, a logistics company folded overnight. Two drivers, let's call them Levi and Sophia, watched the same trucks get locked behind the same gates. Levi, see here. This is the end. He spent 3 months refreshing an inbox. Sophia felt a different pressure in her chest. It wasn't panic. It was a burden that would not leave. Grandmothers can't get prescriptions on time. She rented one van, mapped pharmacies within 15 miles, and built a route that matched seniors' pickup schedules. She named it Right on Time, set a flat fee, partnered with 2 clinics, and learned HIPAA essentials. The same week Levi waited for an email, Sophia delivered her first 50 packages. 6 months later, she employed 5 former drivers, Levi among them. What happened? Purpose turned a lockout into a launch pad. Shaking didn't end her career, it renamed her influence. Write this down. Purpose reads a problem as an invitation. This is why you need an internal audit. Purpose is often hiding in plain sight as the thing that bothers you, the thing that burdens you, the thing you do with ease that others find impossible. I want you to interrogate your life with holy questions. What problem do you feel assigned to, not interested in assigned to? What burden won't leave you even when you try to ignore it? What do you fix for friends for free because it energizes you? What would you build if nobody clapped and nobody posted about it? What makes you righteously angry because it is broken and dishonors people? What do people thank you for repeatedly, using the same language? Those repeated thank yous are breadcrumbs to your assignment. Say it. I am following the breadcrumbs of grace. When purpose becomes clear, conviction is born. Conviction is stubborn faith with a backbone. Conviction is when your schedule agrees with your assignment. Hebrews 11 says, by faith Noah, being warned of God, moved with fear, prepared an ark. Noah had no rain report. He had conviction. Conviction turns the hypothetical into a hammer. It locks your calendar to your calling. Out of that conviction, a vision emerges, a picture of a preferred future your assignment is supposed to produce. Vision is not fantasy. It is a photograph of purpose built into reality. Then passion catches fire. Passion is energy with direction. It wakes you early and keeps you late without burning you out, because you are burning the right fuel. Inspiration flows from passion. People feel your fire and borrow your courage. Influence follows not because you manipulated them, but because you modeled momentum. That's leadership. That's the ladder. Write it in order and refuse to reverse it. Now let me correct some of you with love. You have been praying for leadership platforms while neglecting your purpose practices. Stop rehearsing titles. Start rehearsing faithfulness. You don't need a bigger audience. You need a deeper assignment. This week, simplify your life around purpose. Remove one meeting that doesn't serve your mandate. Add one habit that does writing, prototyping, calling the people you are sent to serve. Habakkuk 2:2 still whispers, write the vision and make it plain. But before you write the vision, identify the purpose that authors it. You cannot outline a house without knowing why you're building it. You will decorate a prison. Purpose also stabilizes your emotions. Without purpose, feelings are your boss. With purpose, feelings become your employees. David said, I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Psalm 16:8. Purpose sets the Lord's assignment always before you. When fear knocks, purpose answers the door. When fatigue whispers, purpose schedules a rest that serves the mission, not an escape that sabotages it. Purpose gives discipline a reason to stay. Proverbs 29:18 already told us no vision, no restraint. But hear the root. No purpose, no conviction, no conviction, no vision. Write that down. I want to press this into your spirit because the winds are loud in this season. The media will keep describing the waves. Your relatives will keep sending you caution dressed as love. Your feelings will audition for CEO every morning. But if you locate purpose, you hire stability. If you anchor in assignment, you interpret shaking as scaffolding God is using to build height. James 1-2-4 says to count it all joy when you face various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work so you may be mature and complete. Trials don't diminish purpose, they develop it. They sand the edges off your excuses. They reveal the muscle memory of your mandate. So here is your immediate practice. Take 30 minutes in the next 24 hours and answer those audit questions in ink. No screens, paper and pen. Write 3 problems you feel assigned to solve. Write 3 burdens that won't leave you. Write what you would build if nobody ever clapped. Circle 1 problem, 1 burden, 1 build. That intersection is your purpose prototype. For the next 14 days, give it 1 focus hour daily. Call 5 people you believe you are sent to serve and ask them what they need most in that area. Stop guessing, start serving. Remember, every problem is a business, and every purpose becomes provision when it produces fruit. We will talk about fruit soon, but first, secure the root. And now, I commission your identity. Put your hand on your heart. Say it out loud. I am not a victim of the times. I am a solution for the times. Again, with authority. I am not a victim of the times. I am a solution for the times. Say, my purpose is older than this storm. My conviction is stronger than this headline. My vision is clearer than my feelings. My passion is holy fuel. My inspiration will lift others. My influence will serve, not manipulate. This is leadership. And I start at the bottom with purpose. Remember, Genesis 1:28 is not poetry. It is policy. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. But that sequence is not random. It is rooted in why you exist. Purpose tells you what fruit to produce. Purpose determines what you should multiply. Purpose selects where to replenish, what to subdue, and where to take dominion. Without purpose, you will be busy and barren. With purpose, you will be stable and strategic. Write this last line for today. When purpose stands up in me, the shaking sits down around me. Now go find it, write it, and let it lead you into the future you were born to govern. Now that purpose has stood up inside you, let me expose the tension you will feel tomorrow morning. Vision will make you look unreasonable to people who worship their eyes. Write that down. Vision is seeing the invisible future as if it already exists. Sight is loyalty to what already is. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Did you hear it? Evidence of what cannot be seen. That means God gives you a courtroom inside your spirit where the future is already legal even when the environment has not yet complied. Say this out loud. I have evidence within. Again, I have evidence within. Sight asks, is it safe? Vision asks, is it mine to build? Those are different questions from different worlds. Sight interrogates the weather. Vision interrogates your why. Sight needs guarantees. Vision needs obedience. 2 Corinthians 4:18 tells us, we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Temporary versus eternal. Write that down. The visible is seasonal. The invisible assignment is permanent. So if you only trust what you see, you will never build what has never been seen. Let me prove it with scripture and with life. Noah built an ark with no forecast app and no cloud in the sky. Sight called him crazy. Vision called him early. Nehemiah surveyed rubble at night and saw a wall when others saw a wasteland. Sight heard jackals. Vision heard hammers. Joseph stocked grain in the fat years while sight-based analysts said, relax, the market is up. When the famine came, vision looked like genius. Entrepreneurs always look crazy until the future arrives. Write that down and put it on your refrigerator. They call you delusional until your delivery date. Jesus walked into a room of grief and said, the girl is not dead but asleep, and the crowd laughed him to scorn. Mark 5:39-40. Sight laughed. Resurrection vision spoke. You will be laughed at by those whose doctrine is the present. Here is why visionaries are resisted. Vision confronts communal comfort with the present. Sight-based communities require present proof to feel safe. You bring a blueprint and they bring binoculars. They say, show me, and you say, I can't show you yet, I can only see it. They call that delusion. But Psalm 119-105 declares, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Lamps do not show you the city, they show you the next 3 steps. Vision walks by a lamp, not a stadium floodlight. That's why your steps will look small and stubborn, while your neighbors are waiting for a spotlight to give them permission. Stop consulting your environment for permission. Consult your purpose. Say it out loud. I consult my purpose. How do you hold vision in chaos? You must make your internal pictures heavier than the external noise. Protect imagination like capital. If money is your cash, imagination is your credit line. It extends your reach beyond what you hold in hand. Guard it. Habakkuk 2:2-3 still instructs, write the vision and make it plain. Though it tarry, wait for it, it will surely come. Writing is how you weight the picture. Every sentence you write adds mass to your vision until it can resist the gravity of gossip and the drag of doubt. Your journal is not a diary, it is a construction site. Tell your neighbor, write it down. Build an inner theater with repeat show times, morning and evening. Run the reel until you can recite the script of your future with your eyes closed. See the sign on the door. See the first customer. Smell the paint. Count the SKUs. Hear the team meeting. Taste the first prototype. This is not fantasy. This is training the eyes of your understanding. Paul prayed for in Ephesians 1:18. The more detailed the inner photograph, the less convincing the headlines become. Noise cannot evict a picture that pays rent in details. Write that down. Let me give you a parable that feels like your life. A young woman named Mina worked in a chaotic hospital cafeteria. Budgets were slashed. Schedules shifted without warning. Every day she listened to elderly patients complain that the meals made them sick of too much sugar, not enough flavor, no options for strict renal diets. Purpose started bothering her. People deserve food that heals. Vision took a seat. She saw a branded modular meal system for clinics, color-coded menus, medically precise seasoning, weekly delivery with a tracking app for families. Site-based colleagues said, it's not safe. The hospital is the only buyer in town. Vision asked, is it mine to build? Mina sketched it at midnight, cooked 3 prototypes on weekends, and tested them with discharged patients who gave honest feedback. She printed a 1-page brochure and walked it to 3 clinics while others refreshed job boards. In 9 months, the first clinic signed a pilot for Mina's Men Meals. The world called it sudden success. Purpose called it overdue obedience. Entrepreneurs look crazy until the future arrives, and then everybody claims they always believed. Now, practical counsel for guardians of vision in shaking times. 1, create a vision vault, 20 minutes daily, with no screens, just pen, paper, and prayer. That is your bank where you deposit images and withdraw instructions. 2, appoint a Joshua and Caleb circle, 2 or 3 people who speak the language of your future and refuse grasshopper talk. We are well able must be normal in your friendships. 3, set a weekly prototype rhythm. Produce 1 inch of proof every 7 days, a mock-up, a script page, a call, a landing page, a pre-order form. Vision must sweat. 4, control your inputs. Curate news, mute panic, unsubscribe from emotional arsonists. If you don't subdue your inputs, they will subdue your outputs. We'll talk more about subduing later, but write this phrase now. My ear is a gate to my future. And please hear the correction in love. Stop needing the environment to applaud before you act. The environment does not bless pioneers. It explains them after. Paul said to King Agrippa, I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. Acts 26-19. He didn't say popular vision or polled vision. Heavenly. That means sourced in purpose and accountable to God. If you're waiting on consensus, you will miss your window. Consensus is a rearview mirror. Vision is a windshield. Thermometers agree. Thermostat set. You are a thermostat. Say it. I set temperature. Let's anchor this again in our unshakable sequence. Vision tells you what fruit to produce first. Be fruitful. Choose a tangible expression of your assignment. Multiply. Design a system so it can repeat without your mood. Replenish, build, distribution so your fruit finds your people. Subdue, govern the chaos that tries to interrupt the flow. Have dominion master your niche until they think of you first. But listen, sight will try to skip to safety without fruit. Vision insists on sequence, even in storms. Stability is a sequence that keeps you building while the world trembles. Write that down. I close this section with a commissioning. Put your hand on your head and declare, I bless my imagination. Say it again. I bless my imagination. Say, my inner picture is heavier than outer noise. Say, I stop consulting my environment for permission. I consult my purpose for assignment. I do not ask, is it safe? I ask, is it mine to build? I am not disobedient to the heavenly vision. I walk by faith, not by sight. Now go and guard the lens. See the picture with ink. Protect it with discipline. And step toward it one obedient inch at a time. When the future arrives, and it will, those who laugh will come looking for leadership. Be ready to feed them with fruit. Listen carefully now, because what I'm about to say will save you from quitting on a good thing at a bad time. Every true vision will be tested. Write that down. Testing is not a sign you missed God. It is a sign you started. Matthew 7 says, the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew on both houses, the wise man's and the fool's. Storms are equal opportunity instructors. The difference was foundation. The shaking did not cancel the house on the rock. It confirmed it. Tell your neighbor, the storm is not my conclusion. It's my classroom. Say it again with conviction. The storm is not my conclusion. It's my classroom. Why does vision attract resistance? Because vision threatens systems that profit from your smallness. As long as you stay a consumer, the market is comfortable. The day you become a producer, doors you never knew existed suddenly have guards. 1 Corinthians 16:9 says, a great and effectual door is opened unto me, and there are many adversaries. Did you hear the grammar? Open door, many adversaries. Opportunity and opposition are twins. Nehemiah felt it. Sanballat and Tobiah mocked, distracted, threatened, and wrote letters. They never bothered him when the walls were rubble. They only woke up when the stones started stacking. Write this down. Resistance rises when your results begin. Now let me name the tests so you can recognize them at the gate. 1, delay. Delay whispers, if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it won't. Delay tempts you to edit your vision down to your calendar. 2, distraction. Distraction offers shiny alternatives that feel like progress, but move you sideways good things that are not your thing. 3, criticism. Criticism tries to take the hammer out of your hand by putting a mirror in your face. Mockery, misunderstandings, think pieces from people who never built anything. 4, comparison. Comparison seduces you to trade your assignment for applause. It makes you despise your day of small beginnings because someone else's middle is trending. 5, shortage. Shortage screams scarcity. Money is tight. Time is thin. Energy is low, and tries to convince you to eat your seed instead of planting it. 6, sudden bad news. A phone call, a headline, a closed door, a betrayal shock designed to shove you back into sight because sight panics when reality shakes. Write this line and put a box around it. Each test is engineered to drag you out of vision and back into your eyes. Jesus already taught us how this works. Mark 4 describes the sower and the seed. The word the vision is sown. Immediately the birds came criticism and confusion to steal it before it roots. Then trouble and persecution arise because of the word, rocks beneath the soil, shallow roots that cannot endure heat. Then thorns, the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things choke it. That's distraction, comparison, and shortage disguised as wisdom. But Luke 8:15 says, the good soil are those who, having heard the word, keep it in an honest and good heart, and bring forth fruit with patience. Patience is the partner of vision. Fruit takes seasons. Say it. I bring forth with patience. Let me reframe your shaking. Instability is often the corridor to your next level. Every transition feels like confusion to sight. Ask a baby in the birth canal. If it's comfortable, it is necessary, but it is narrow and noisy. Joseph was pushed from favored son to pit, from pit to Potiphar's house, from house to prison, from prison to palace. Sight would call that chaos. Vision calls it choreography. Acts 27 shows Paul in a storm, ship breaking apart, yet the word to him was clear. You must stand before Caesar. The storm did not cancel Rome. It delivered him to Malta first so he could heal a people on the way. Write this down. God often hides promotion in disruption. Here is your discipline for surviving tests. Practice vision continuity. Vision continuity means you keep the sequence in motion with small faithful steps while your feelings fluctuate. You don't let weather decide your work. Galatians 6-9 still admonishes, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not faint. Proverbs 24:10 confronts us, If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. So enlarge your strength with structure. Set a non-negotiable daily hour for your assignment. Same time, same place, no debates with your feelings. In that hour, move one brick. Be fruitful. Produce one tangible inch, one page, one prototype tweak, one customer call. Multiply. Write or refine one simple process, how you do that inch, so it can repeat without you. Replenish. Place your fruit in one channel. Send the email. Post the listing. Make the partnership. Add. Subdue. Enforce one boundary. Mute one chaos source. Say one necessary no. Clean one workspace. Automate one distraction. Dominion. Study or practice one micro skill that increases your niche mastery. 5 moves. Small enough to do under pressure. Powerful enough to keep momentum while the earth trembles. Write this confession. I build by covenant, not by weather. Let me testify with a parable that sounds like your street. Jairo and Leela started torch tutors during school closures. Their vision was simple and holy. Every child should read by 3rd grade. Delay hit first. Schools reopened slower than expected. Partnerships crawled. Distraction showed up. Why don't you switch to adult test prep? It's hot right now. Criticism came, their cousin said. You're just babysitting online. Comparison crept in. Another startup posted shiny photos of a downtown office. Shortage. Laugh. The laptop died. The car needed brakes. The savings account groaned. Then sudden bad news. Lila's mom was hospitalized. And for a week, everything stood still. They cried, they prayed, then they opened the notebook and returned to their 5 moves. One new phonics module, fruit. 1 page SOP for a volunteer tutor. 1 conversation with a church about hosting sessions. 1 boundary, no social media before noon. Subdue. 15 minutes of mastering dyslexia strategies, dominion. They stacked those inches for 90 days. By month 4, the church opened its doors. By month 5, a local foundation called for. By month 6, the cousin enrolled his own child. The storm was not their conclusion, it was their classroom. Hear me. Shaking does not cancel vision. Shaking reveals whether your vision is strong enough to govern your actions. Leadership is not how you behave when the wind is in your back. Leadership is how you behave when the wind is in your face. 1 Peter 1:7 says the trial of your faith is more precious than gold. Gold is proved by fire, so faith is proved by storms. James 1:2-4 told you to count it joy, not because the test feels good, but because perseverance is manufacturing maturity in you. Write this down. The test is training your governance. So receive a correction in love. Stop interpreting resistance as a prophecy of failure. Treat it as a syllabus. Ask the storm, what are you here to teach me? Delay is teaching patience. Distraction is teaching focus. Criticism is teaching depth. Comparison is teaching identity. Shortage is teaching creativity. Sudden bad news is teaching adaptability. And while you learn, keep the sequence moving. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Say it aloud until your bones believe it. The storm is not my conclusion. It's my classroom. My vision governs me. My feelings report to my schedule. I bring forward patience. I walk by faith, not by sight. And when the shaking subsides, and it will, you will not be where you started. You will be stronger, clearer, and already producing the fruit the world can recognize, trust, and reward. Now wipe your eyes, pick up your brick, and lay the next course. The wind may roar, but builders keep building. Builders keep building, but build what? Not vibes, not inspirational posts, not mood swings. Build fruit. Write that down. The world doesn't eat seeds, the world eats fruit. Your gift is a seed. Your idea is a seed. Your talent is a seed. Genesis 1:11 says, God commanded the earth to bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. Did you hear the order? Seed in itself. But the command was fruit. God hid your future in a seed, but he expects fruit for the market. Jesus said, herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit. John 15:8. Not much inspiration, much fruit. Not much intention, much fruit. Fruit is God's favorite proof. Let me lovingly rebuke a pattern that is stealing your decade. In unstable times, people hoard seeds. They collect courses, attend webinars, fill notebooks, and then clutch their ideas to their chest like an heirloom they're afraid to scratch. They wait for the wind to agree with them. Ecclesiastes 11:4 warns, he that observes the wind shall not sow, and he that regards the clouds shall not reap. If you keep watching the headlines, you'll never plant the thing that will feed you in the headlines. Write this down. Perfectionism is fear in a tuxedo. It looks respectable, but it escorts you to poverty. Proverbs 14:23 confronts us. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tends only to penury. In other words, talk is cheap, labor births profit. Produce something. What is fruit? Fruit is refined, packaged, value. Someone can access, experience, and reward. Fruit has a promise, a process, a price, and a place to get it. It is measurable benefit. An ebook that solves a specific problem. A 90-minute assessment that identifies gaps. A 6-week curriculum for parents of autistic teens. A Saturday micro clinic on home budgeting. A meal plan for renal patients with a subscription. A software script that saves a manager 2 hours a week. A done-for-you landing page service. A hair care regimen with 3 products. A speaking kit with clear outcomes. An online class with dates and a buy button. Fruit is not an idea. Fruit is an offer. Say this out loud. I make offers. Let me show you the trap. Seeds are comfortable because they are private. No one can reject your seed if no one sees your seed. Fruit is vulnerable because it comes with inspection. That is why many keep dreaming but never selling. They prefer admiration without accountability. But listen, if you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed by someone who did. Every problem is a business. The question is not, do you have a seed? The question is, will you cultivate it until it feeds somebody? The widow in 2 Kings 4 had oil in her house, seed. The prophet didn't bless her pantry. He blessed her production line. Borrow vessels, not a few, he said. She poured, filled, sold, and paid her debts. God will not do your pouring. Write that down. Now, I'm about to move you from intention to production. Pull out your notebook. List your top 3 ideas that won't go away. The ones that keep waking you up at 2 a.m. The ones that bother you when you see a problem and want to fix it. The ones your friends already ask you about because you do it naturally. Write them now. Tell your neighbor, I'm writing mine. Good. Now circle 1. Choose the one that satisfies 3 tests. It aligns with your purpose. It solves a clear pain for a real person, and you can prototype it in 7 days. Not perfect, prototype it. Now draw a box around that circled idea and write over it in big letters, minimum viable fruit. Minimum viable fruit means you produce the smallest real thing that delivers true benefit so you can test with reality instead of arguing with your fears. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect your fruit in imperfect conditions. God doesn't need your weather. He needs your will. James 2:18 still echoes, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Faith works by working. Here is your 3 0-day commissioning to move from seed to fruit. Day 1, clarify the promise. Write a 1-sentence transformation your fruit delivers. In 14 days, your child will read CVC words confidently. Or in 1 session, I will map the next 3 hires you need. Or in 4 weeks, I'll reset your pantry for diabetic safe meals. Specific is spiritual. Vague is vanity. Day 2, outline the process 3 to 5 steps max. People don't buy fog. Week 1, build the first draft, the worksheet, the recipe pack, the template, the slide deck, the checklist, the kit. Not pretty yet, just true. Week 2, test with 3 real humans who have the pain. Deliver the benefit. Ask them what worked, what confused, what they'd pay. Do not ask your mom for validation. Ask the market for evidence. Week 3, refine, brand, price, and set a delivery date. Name matters. Names create handles. Give it a clear title. Set a simple price that honors the value and the effort. Week 4, launch in 1 channel with 1 call to action and 1 way to pay. A Stripe link is a ministry. Accept money with dignity. And when someone buys, serve them like royalty, because kings recognize kings. Let me put flesh on this. In a little town not far from you, a janitor named Dean hated how small offices wasted money on sloppy supply ordering. Purpose bothered him. Stewardship is order. His idea, streamlined supplies, nagged him for a year. See, he finally circled it. Minimum viable fruit, a 90-minute audit, plus a 2-page reorder template that cut costs by 18% in the first month. He called 3 office managers, did it free for the first 2 for testimonials, charged the third $197. In 30 days, he had 3 case studies, a simple PDF, a Stripe link, and a clear promise. I'll cut your supply waste by 15% in 30 days, or you don't pay fruit. Within 6 months, a regional chain hired him to train their admins. Same seed, refined and packaged into fruit the market could recognize, trust, and reward. Be fruitful. Write that down. Now hear the sequence again, because it will keep you sane when emotions misbehave. Be fruitful. Build the thing. Don't jump to marketing before making. Multiply. Turn your delivery into a repeatable process. Write the checklist. Record the Loom video. Document the steps so it can run without your mood. Replenish. Choose a distribution path so the fruit can travel. A weekly webinar, a clinic partnership, an Etsy shop, a church lobby table, a referral agreement, a WhatsApp group, a mailing list. Subdue, govern your chaos. Set office hours. Mute the panic channel. Say no to the 10th coffee chat that steals your afternoons. Automate your invoices. Have dominion. Study and practice until you are unmistakable in your niche. What is your Whopper? Everybody sells burgers. What is the thing only you make like you make it? Say it. I am necessary. My fruit is necessary. Let me correct a lie that keeps you underemployed. When I have more time and more money, I'll produce. No. Production gives you time and money. Provision follows vision expressed as value. Money is a certificate of gratitude for usefulness. Stop praying for money and start designing fruit that solves pain. The prayer of Jabez enlarges territory. After there is territory, God blesses movement. In Mark 16 it says, they went everywhere, the Lord working with them. Not the Lord worked and they watched move and heaven partners. Another parable for faith. Aunt Mara made pepper sauce that calmed every stomach and healed every bland meal in a 5-mile radius. For 15 years she gave it away in recycled jars with a masking tape label. One day her niece said, Auntie, this is slavery to your gift. Package this. They named it Fire and Kindness. Printed a clean label. Wrote a 1-sentence promise. Flavor that loves your gut. Taught 3 local chefs how to use it. Took pre-orders at the Saturday market with a square reader. In 30 days, she had her minimum viable fruit. A year later, a regional grocer placed a small order. The sauce did not change. The packaging did. The market doesn't eat seeds. The market buys fruit. This is your moment. Open your mouth and say, I am a producer. Say it again. I am a producer. My ideas are seeds. My market needs fruit. I will not observe the wind. I will sow in this season. I will perfect my fruit in imperfect conditions. I will build an offer with a promise, a process, a price, and a place to get it. I will move 1 inch every day until people can taste my value. Now write your 3 ideas. Circle 1. Name the minimum viable fruit. Set the 30-day date. Put the lamp of Psalm 119 to 105 on your calendar. 20 minutes daily to refine. Then go borrow vessels. Not a few find. 3 testers. Deliver benefit. Collect proof. And when the shaking outside grows loud, let your fruit speak for you. Luke 6:43 reminds us, a good tree brings not forth corrupt fruit. Neither does a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Let your orchard answer your critics. I bless your hands to produce. I bless your mind to focus. I bless your courage to price. I bless your mouth to ask. I bless your heart to endure feedback without folding. And I command that seed in you to break its shell and show up as fruit. Vision becomes stability when it turns into fruit. Tangible value the world can recognize, trust, and reward. Now, go and be fruitful. Then we'll multiply it. Now that you have food in your hand, we need an operating system to keep you building while the ground under everybody else is shaking. Stability is not the absence of shaking. Stability is having a sequence that keeps you moving when the world trembles. Write that down. Your emotions are not a strategy. Your sequence is your strategy. This is why Genesis 1:28 is not a memory verse for Sunday school. It is a business plan from the mind of God. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. I'm going to show you how heaven wrote a 5-step operating system for unstable times. Say it out loud with me, slow and strong. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. First law, be fruitful. Fruitful does not mean busy. Fruitful means productive. It is not get a job. It is produce. Heaven's first instruction to humanity was not employment. It was productivity. Write that down. Employment is a season. Productivity is a mandate. The world doesn't reward attendance. It rewards outcomes. Fruitful defeats panic. Why? Because panic grows in empty hands. When you hold your own fruit and offer with a clear promise, a process, a price, and a place to get it, you disarm fear. While everyone is scrolling news, you are shipping value. While the headlines shout, your fruit talks back. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit. John 15:8. Not much commentary, much fruit. Say it. I produce under pressure. Second law, multiply. Multiplication is not more hustle, it is more systems. When you multiply, you convert what you did once into a way it can be done again without your panic or your presence. You document the steps, you design the templates, you create the checklist, you record the loom, you train someone else, you automate the invoice. Multiplication defeats fragility. Fragility is when your whole vision depends on your best day, your perfect mood, and your personal touch. That is not a business, that's an adrenaline addiction. Systems make your fruit reproducible whether you slept well or not, whether the news is pretty or not. Proverbs 24:3 says, through wisdom a house is built, by understanding it is established. Systems are understanding on paper. Write this down. Multiplication is the discipline of making excellence boring. Third law, replenish. Replenish means distribute. Get your fruit traveling beyond your street. Replenishing defeats scarcity mindset, because distribution is the antidote to drought. Scarcity screams, there's not enough. Distribution replies, there's more than enough people, but they cannot buy what they cannot find. Replenishing is compassion and strategy married. It asks, how can my value reach the people who need it most, in the places they already are, in a way that respects their time and attention? That could be a weekly webinar with a buy link, shelf space in a local shop, affiliate partners, a church foyer, a clinic, a marketplace app, a school district pilot, or a simple newsletter that never misses a Thursday. When you replenish, you interrupt famine with flow. Write this down. Scarcity is a distribution problem disguised as a money problem. Fourth law, subdue. Subdue means govern your environment, set standards, control quality, protect the experience. Subduing defeats chaos. Chaos is not just noise outside, it's carelessness inside. This is where you choose what you accept and what you will never accept again. You create brand standards, service level agreements, refund policies, onboarding scripts, cleanliness codes, rehearsal routines, content calendars, and mental boundaries. You say no to the wrong client, you remove the distracting app, you clean the workspace nightly, you audit the metrics weekly, you choose your inputs so your outputs are secure. Genesis says, subdue, bring under control. Write that down. You cannot build a future with a life you refuse to govern. Tell your neighbor, control your inputs before they control your outcomes. Fifth law, have dominion. Dominion is mastery expressed as trust. It's when your name becomes shorthand for a solution in a specific niche. Dominion defeats instability, because when people trust your mastery, they seek you even in storms. They don't shop around in panic. They come straight to you. Dominion is when your fruit, your systems, your distribution, and your governance work together so consistently that the market thinks of you first. That's the Whopper principle. Everybody sells burgers, but someone owns a memory in your mind. What do you master so well we think of you first? Say it with courage. I was born to master something. Look at how the world already uses this sequence without quoting the verse. A company creates a product you can actually hold or experience fruitful. Then they build a process so it's not a one-off multiplier. They secure channels, stores, platforms, partnerships so the product can travel, replenish. They set standards and policies to protect the experience, subdue. Then they own a category in your head, dominion. That's why certain phones, certain coffees, certain sneakers, certain booking sites show up in your brain before you even finish the sentence. Don't be intimidated by that. Be instructed by that. The earth is running on Genesis while the church memorizes Genesis. Write that down. Now, let me map the sequence directly to unstable times so you never forget the antidotes. Fruitfulness is your answer to panic. In panic, you freeze. In fruitfulness, you ship. Multiplication is your answer to fragility. Fragile operations shatter under pressure. Systems flex and hold. Replenishing is your answer to scarcity mindset. Scarcity hoards. Distribution flows. Subduing is your answer to chaos. Chaos distracts. Standards focus. Dominion is your answer to instability. Instability confuses. Mastery clarifies. This is God's architecture for stability in storms. Say it. My stability is sequence, not circumstance. Let me pastor your mind for a second. Many of you are frustrated not because you lack anointing, but because you violate the order. You keep trying to market what you haven't made, skipping fruitfulness to jump to replenish. Or you make something good once, then chase a new idea, avoiding multiply because systems feel boring. Or you distribute everywhere without any standards, skipping subdue, and then blame the market for inconsistent reviews. Or you crave dominion without the discipline of a daily craft, wanting to be known before you are masterful. Write this down and underline it. The blessing follows the sequence, not your shortcuts. Let me give you a simple diagnostic right now, a mini assignment to locate your bottleneck. Take 60 seconds and be honest. Question 1, am I still in seed collecting ideas with no fruit the market can buy this month? If yes, your next move is fruitful. Ship minimum viable fruit in 7 days. Question 2, do I have fruit but no process delivering like a superhero with no checklist, burning out and reinventing the wheel every sale? If yes, your next move is multiply. Document your top 3 repeatable steps before the week ends. Question 3. Do I have a process but no pathway, no consistent channel to reach buyers beyond my cousin and church row 3? If yes, your next move is replenish. Choose one channel and commit weekly for 12 weeks. Question 4. Am I selling but sloppy, unclear expectations, late responses, messy invoices, inconsistent quality? If yes, your next move is subdue. Write 3 standards and enforce them starting tomorrow. Question 5. Are people buying but not naming me first? Am I generic in a crowded lane? If yes, your next move is dominion. Define your Whopper 1 differentiator. You study and practice daily for 90 days until it's unquestionable. Circle where you are stuck. Tell your neighbor, I'm locating my bottleneck. Let me show you how speed comes from sequence. A small bakery in a tough economy launches one signature bread, fruitful. They write a 2-page playbook for mixing, proofing, baking, and packaging, multiply. They partner with 3 cafes and a farmer's market, replenish. They implement a strict freshness code, delivery windows, and customer service scripts, subdue. Within a year, when the city thinks of sourdough, they think of them dominion. Same flour everyone else has, different sequence. Or consider a consultant who stops selling wisdom by the hour and creates a 2-week sprint with a defined promise, fruitful. She turns the sprint into a kit with templates, multiply. She runs a quarterly webinar, replenish. She sets intake criteria and a no-scope creep rule, subdue. Then, when executives say, we need a reset in 14 days, her name comes first, dominion. Write this down. Speed belongs to the sequenced. I need to correct something with love, Don't pray for what order can fix. The blessing of Genesis 1:28 was spoken, but the fruit, the systems, the distribution, the governance, and the mastery, those are your assignments. God blessed them and said, the blessing is an enablement, not a substitute for structure. James says, faith without works is dead. So is vision without sequence. Stop envying those who appear to sprint. They are simply running on rails. Build your rails. Now breathe in this commissioning. In unstable times, your eyes describe the storm, but your sequence decides your success. You are not at the mercy of headlines. You are under the mandate of heaven's order. Say it over your life. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Again, as a covenant, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. And now, turn that confession into a calendar. This week, one fruit finished, one step documented, one channel chosen, one standard enforced, one skill practiced. 5 moves small enough to do under pressure, strong enough to anchor you while the earth shakes. Finally, I bless your mind to love order as much as you love inspiration. I bless your hands to produce without panic. I bless your judgment to choose one channel with courage. I bless your backbone to say no where quality is at risk. And I bless your craft to rise into mastery until your name is a refuge in a storm. The world is trembling, but you will be steady, not because the wind stopped, but because you kept the sequence. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Now go run the operating system. Now that the rails are set, let's ride the second law with holy precision. Multiply. Hear me. Multiplication is not more of you. It is less of you and more of what works without you. Write that down. If it requires you every time, it cannot multiply. Hustle is not dominion. Dominion is controlled reproduction of value. Proverbs 24:3 says, through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. Wisdom builds it once. Understanding establishes it again and again. Multiplication is vision expressed as systems, so your future no longer depends on your daily emotions. Let me confront a lie wearing a motivational t-shirt. You don't scale by staying up later and breathing harder. You scale by thinking clearer. Genesis did not say, be frantic. It said, be fruitful and multiply. Multiplication is the art of making yesterday's excellence tomorrow's normal. It is when your promise becomes a process. Habakkuk 2:2 has been waiting for your clipboard. Write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that reads it. If they can't run it without you, but you didn't write it plain, here is a simple replication model. 4 words that will calm your calendar. Document, train, delegate, measure. Say it with me. Document, train, delegate, measure. Again, document, train, delegate, measure. Write that down and circle it. These 4 moves transform a gift into a system, a personality into a process, an inspiration into an institution. Document. Take what is in your head and put it on paper where someone else can see it, follow it, and improve it. Don't romance your genius. Translate it. Title the document with the outcome, not the activity. Onboard a new client in 48 hours with 5-star clarity. Bake the signature bread with 0% underbake. Run the sales call. That closes at 35%. Then list steps, time stamps, tools, and check boxes. Jesus organized before he multiplied. Mark 6:39. He commanded them to make all sit down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. Order first, then bread. Write that down. Order precedes overflow. Train. People cannot perform what you have not explained. 2 Timothy 2:2 is your HR verse. The things you have heard of me, commit to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. That's 4 generations in one sentence, Paul to Timothy, to faithful to others. Build a training loop. Teach. Watch them do it. Give feedback. Certify. Record your best version once. Then let new people learn from your best day, not your tired day. Training is how you multiply your best self without cloning your exhaustion. Delegate. Exodus 18 is God's mercy for your back and your blood pressure. Jethro told Moses, what you are doing is not good. You will wear yourself out. He instructed him to appoint able men over thousands, hundreds, fifties, tens graded authority with clear cases. Delegation is not dumping. It is assignment with authority, tools, and timing. Provide the playbook, the keys, and the scoreboard. If you keep rescuing the task, you are training your team to fail upward and you to burn outward. Write this down. Delegation without authority is torment. Measure. Dominion doesn't guess. It governs by numbers. Luke 19 shows the master returning to ask, what did you gain by trading? Fruit is counted. Pick 3 vital signs, no more than 5, that define health for your operation. Cycle time, defect rate, customer satisfaction, cost to deliver, and margin per unit. Review weekly, not yearly. Measurement turns opinions into stewardship. What you don't measure, you cannot multiply. On purpose, only by accident. Now let's walk this into your domain so excuses die quietly. Coaches, listen. Multiplication for you is curriculum plus onboarding. Stop improvising brilliance every session. Document your signature transformation into a 6-step pathway with worksheets, milestones, and time frames. Record a 20-minute orientation video that sets expectations, explains tools, and outlines session rhythm. Build a shared folder with templates and a client dashboard so progress is visible. Train an associate coach on your exact coaching cadence. Delegate onboarding to them with a checklist. Send welcome, schedule first call, gather assessments, orient to tools, measure show-up rate, milestone completion, and testimonial collection. If your coaching breaks when you have the flu, you didn't multiply, you memorize. Product builders, come closer. Multiplication is SOPs and QA. Standard operating procedures that describe sourcing, assembly, packaging, and shipping down to grams and minutes. Quality assurance that checks the 3 points most likely to fail: before, during, after. Print the checklist and sign it. Signatures create seriousness. McDonald's fries are predictable in Tokyo and in Nassau because the potato met a process, not a poet. Write this down. Predictability is a component of trust. Train your team with a demo day. Let them assemble under observation. Certify them for a station. Delegate batch production with lot numbers. Measure defect rate, rework time, and on-time ship rate. If your product depends on your hand to taste right, you cooked, you didn't build the kitchen. Content creators, hear the spirit correcting your chaos. Multiplication is formats and schedules. Define 3 repeatable show types. Tutorial, behind the scenes, customer story, each with a template. Hook, promise, 3 beats, call to action. Set a publishing rhythm. Monday tips, Wednesday story, Friday live, then build 2 weeks ahead. Train a VA to slice long form into shorts, caption, and schedule. Delegate posting and first hour engagement with scripts. Measure watch time, save rate, response to CTA. If your audience only hears from you when your mood is perfect, you are entertaining yourself, not building a channel. Write it down. Consistency is a ministry. Service businesses, this is where money stops slipping through your fingers. Multiplication is checklists and a designed customer journey. A cleaning company, create a room-by-room checklist with time targets and photo examples of done. Train crews with mock apartments. Certify leads who can inspect against the checklist. Design the customer journey. Inquiry script. Estimate template. Confirmation email. Arrival window text. Before-after photos sent. Satisfaction survey. Next booking offer. Delegate scheduling to a coordinator with authority to move crews within standards. Measure average job time, reclean rate, 5-star review percentage. If each crew does it their way, you have chaos with invoices. Subdue your service with systems and multiply it with teams. Let me pass to your hiring for a moment. Don't hire to relieve your pain. Hire to release your process. If you don't have a documented process, you are bringing people into your confusion, baptized in payroll. Look for faithful before brilliant. Luke 16:10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Train for skill, test for character. Write that down. Culture eats SOPs for breakfast unless you feed culture daily. Set rituals daily, huddles, weekly scorecard, monthly improvement, sprint. Teach them the why, not just the what. Purpose produces ownership. Some of you are thinking, but doctor, no one can do it like me. You are right and wrong. No one can be you, but many can reproduce your result when you translate your art into steps, standards, and stories. Excellence must become boring. That's multiplication's secret. The thrill of improvisation is for the stage. The discipline of repetition is for dominion. That's why certain chains outlive founders. Processes don't retire. I'm giving you a test that will reveal if your vision is real. Write this phrase and post it above your desk. If my vision is real, it must survive a day without me. Say it out loud again. Now schedule a Know You Day in the next 30 days. Prepare your team with the 4 moves. Document, train, delegate, measure, then vanish for 24 hours while reachable only for emergencies. What breaks is your next system project. What holds is your new normal. Don't be offended by the gaps. Thank God for light. Genesis begins with God saying, let there be light, not let there be shame. Light reveals where to build. Let me anchor this with a story. So faith has feet. Lila, a postpartum nurse, built a beautiful one-on-one support offer, fruitful. But every time demand rose, her body broke. She decided to multiply. She documented a 6-week recovery curriculum with videos, meal plans, and questions. Trained 2 doulas using her scripts and role plays. Delegated onboarding and weekly check-ins to them. Measured outcomes, sleep hours, mood score, breastfeeding success, doctor follow-ups. She ran a Know You Week when her mother fell ill. Clients kept progressing, testimonials kept arriving, and revenue didn't twitch. Her gift became a garden. That's multiplication. Another one, Marco, a garage door technician. He created a 1-2 point inspection checklist, standard toolkit, and pre-arrival text script. Trained his nephew and a friend with ride-alongs in a skills test. Delegated dispatch using software, and empowered his coordinator to reroute for emergencies within rules. Measured first visit fix rate, average repair time, and 5-star reviews. When a storm knocked out power across town, his phones exploded, but his crews ran like lanes on a highway because the lanes existed yesterday. Hustle would have drowned him. Systems carried him. Now hear the scripture saying over your operations, let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Commit to faithful people who will teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2. Set rulers of thousands, hundreds, 50s, 10s. Exodus 18. God has never blessed confusion. He multiplies what he orders. Write that down. God multiplies order. Here is your 7-day multiply sprint. Day 1, document your top 2 recurring wins step by step, tools included. Day 2, record a 1 5-minute training for each. Day 3, choose one person, contractor, assistant, associate to train, certify with a checklist. Day 4, delegate the next 3 occurrences to them with authority and boundaries. Day 5, install a simple scoreboard, 3 numbers. Review at day's end. Day 6, run your Know You block 2 to 4 hours where you don't touch it. Note what breaks. Day 7, fix the biggest break and schedule the next training. Then repeat for 12 weeks. By the end, you'll trust your own business. Say this with me. My future does not depend on my daily emotions. It rests on systems that respect my vision. Say it again. Be fruitful, yes, but now multiply. Make excellence boring. Turn your gift into a process. Build a team that carries the name with honor. And when the world shakes tomorrow, you will not panic. Your playbook will play. That is dominion beginning to show controlled reproduction of value again and again until your niche remembers you first. We multiplied. We wrote the playbook. We trained the team. Now hear the 3rd law, calling your name replenish. In Genesis 1:28, after be fruitful and multiply, God says, replenish the earth. Fill the territory with value. Don't hide your fruit in a notebook. Don't leave your solution in your head. A vision that cannot travel, cannot transform. Write that down. If your fruit stays home, your future stays small. Let me confront a religious lie that dresses up as humility. Some of you whisper, I don't want to promote myself. Listen to scripture. Proverbs 11:26. He that withholds corn, the people shall curse him. That's not marketing hype. That's marketplace ethics. If you have grain and people are hungry, withholding is not humility, it's cruelty. Proverbs 3:27 commands, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in the power of your hand to do it. If your service heals a pain, distribution is not pride. It is compassion. Write this down. Marketing is mercy when you carry an answer. Say it with me. Distribution is compassion. In unstable times, many retreat into silence. Channels dry up. People stop announcing value because the news is loud. Not you. Replenishing is how your future finds your people while the world is shaking. Jesus said, go into all the world, Mark 16:15. Why? Because good news is only good if it arrives. Your product, your program, your counsel, it must go into all your world. Not everywhere at once, your world. The lanes where your people actually walk. Here is your replenish rule of 1 to 90. 1 fruit, 2 channels, 90 days. Say it again. 1 fruit, 1 clear offer with a defined promise. 2 channels, choose only 2 primary routes where your people already pay attention. Content, partnerships, email, SMS, community presence, or referrals. 90 days, no flinching, no hopping, no new shiny until the quarter ends. Write that down and circle it. The earth doesn't fill by dabbling, it fills by devotion. Let me make it practical. If you choose content and email as your 2, your 90-day commitment looks like this. 1 signature piece weekly that teaches something real and ends with a simple invitation. And 1 Thursday letter that lands in inboxes like a reliable friend, short, helpful, and link ready. If you choose partnerships and referrals, your 90 days look like this. 1 partner presentation every week in their room, on their stage, in their feed. And 5 intentional referral asks weekly from happy clients with a script and a thank you plan. If you choose community presence and content, that means 1 consistent booth or meetup or clinic in a place your people trust and a steady drumbeat of highlights from that clinic to your chosen platform. Stop making it complicated. Pick 2 highways and drive them until they remember your license plate. Now here's the strategy that offends the stingy mind but unlocks the cautious heart. Give it away free. The world does not eat seeds. The world eats fruit. And before the world buys fruit, the world tastes fruit. Psalm 34:8 says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Let them taste and see that your solution is good. Samples are not charity. They are credibility. Workshops, trials, templates, first session, free. Lead magnets with real value. These lower fear, build trust, and prove you are not a rumor. Ecclesiastes 11:1 says, cast your bread upon the waters, for you shall find it after many days. Luke 6:38 promises, give, and it shall be given unto you. Write it down. Generosity is a distribution strategy. Tell your neighbor, let them taste it. Let me show you this in motion. Tasha baked cookies that could make a cynic smile. But her sales stalled because her tray never left her family table. She chose 2 channels, community presence and referrals. Every Saturday for 90 days, she set a bright table at the busiest car wash, free bite-sized samples, a sign with a QR code to order, and a simple story, I bake joy for your lunchbox. She handed a dozen thank you boxes to 3 barbershops on consignment and trained the barbers with a 1-sentence script. Try a bite on me. Order with the code. She asked every satisfied buyer for 1 name and number and texted them a thank you plus a first-time code. By week 6, the car wash expected her. By week 8, the barbers were selling out. By week 12, a cafe called her first. She didn't pray for provision and hide her trays. She replenished her street with delight. Distribution is compassion, and profit finds compassion on duty. Another one, Daniel, a physical therapist laid off in a shaky economy. He had fruit, a 6-week back pain reset, but no travel. He picked content and partnerships. Every Tuesday, he ran a 20-minute desk relief live on LinkedIn. 3 stretches, 1 posture tip, link to book a free 10-minute screen. He partnered with 2 HR directors to present a 30-minute workshop for their staff every month. No invoice, just help with a slot to enroll in his reset at a corporate rate. 90 days later, he didn't need a job. He had a waiting list. Why? He stopped praying for provision while refusing distribution. Write that down and shout it in your spirit. Stop praying for provision while refusing distribution. Replenish your market. Let me pastor your fear for a moment. But what if people reject me? Rejection is not a verdict. It's a filter. What if they copy me? They can copy your posts. They cannot copy your presence, your consistency, your covenant with your people. What if I give too much? Then measure. Replenish with design. Free is a door, not the house. Give them a taste. Invite them to dinner. Set a boundary, 1 sample, 1 session, 1 week, then a clear step to buy the meal. This is wisdom, not waste. Remember, Joseph didn't feed Egypt with a miracle. He fed them with distribution, storehouses, routes, rations, systems, plus compassion saved the nation. Here are your 3 replenishing moves for the next 90 days. 1, decide your 2 channels by tonight. Put them on your wall. Say them out loud until they feel like vows. 2, craft your taste 1 free piece that solves a small real pain and leads to the next step. A checklist, a mini class, a 5-minute audit, a sample pack. Make it honest, beautiful, and easy to share. 3, set a weekly cadence and a simple scoreboard. Cadence, when, where, what. Scoreboard, reach, responses, bookings, or orders. Review every Friday. Adjust message and keep the channels. Don't change lanes in the rain, fix the wipers. And please hear the Spirit's correction with love. If you are ashamed of your price, you will hide your product. If you are unclear on your promise, you will mumble your invitation. Clarify before you amplify. Then replenish with joy. Proverbs 11:25 declares, the liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that waters shall be watered also himself. As you water your market with real help, you will be watered with trust, testimonials, and transactions. Say this with me. My vision will travel. My value will be found. Again, be fruitful, multiply, replenish. This is not advertising games. This is kingdom flow. Your channels are not vanity. They are vessels. And when the headlines shout scarcity, your supply lines will hum with order because you honored the 3rd law. A vision that cannot travel cannot transform, but your vision will travel. Now go fill your street, fill your inbox, fill your partnerships with help. Stop praying for provision while refusing distribution. Replenish your market and watch the hungry thank God that you finally let your food out the door. We fill the lanes. Now we must control the lanes. Genesis 1:28 does not stop with replenish. It says, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Write that down. Subdue. The Hebrew idea there is kabash. Bring underfoot. Bring into order. Govern the territory. In unstable times, you don't only need more channels, you need stronger gates. You cannot build a future with a mind that is governed by the present. Subdue your inputs to protect your outputs. Say that with me. I will subdue my inputs to protect my outputs. Again, let me define subdue so you don't spiritualize it away. Subdue means bring order to the territory that feeds your decision making. Your calendar, your attention, your spending, your relationships, and your information diet. If those 5 are chaotic, your vision is malnourished. Proverbs 4:23 commands, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Your heart is the control room. Your gates are the inputs. If you don't govern your gates, somebody else will sell your attention back to you at a profit. Write this down. Input sovereignty. The news cycle, social media outrage, and comparison are sight feeders. They fatten your eyes and starve your imagination. Sight is loyal to the present. It will make the storm look like your master. Vision is loyal to the future. It must be fed on purpose. Tell your neighbor, stop feeding your fear a buffet and your vision crumbs. Psalm 101:3 says, I will set no worthless thing before my eyes. That is a king talking about screen time before algorithms existed. So how do we subdue? Let's bring order to each gate. Your calendar. If your day does not submit to a plan, your purpose is paying rent to emergencies. Schedule your week before the week begins, Sunday evening or early Monday. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Planning is restraint born from vision. Block your CEO hour daily, one protected hour where you make future-shaping decisions, build product, review systems, study numbers, write strategy. No meetings, no messages, no maybes. Then set no-fly zones, meeting-free mornings for creation, afternoons for collaboration, 15-minute buffers between calls. Write this down. If it's not on the calendar, it's not in my life. Your attention is currency. Stop making donations to chaos. Institute consumption windows. News, 15 minutes at 5:30 p.m., not at 5:30 a.m. Social, 2 10-minute windows, midday and evening on purpose, not on autopilot. No grazing. Install app limits. Delete the one that baptizes you in envy before breakfast. Daily creation quota before consumption. Produce before you peruse. Say it with me. Produce before I peruse. Bible. Build. Then browse. Morning is the womb of your day. Don't let panic be your midwife. Your spending. Subdue your money so your money does not subdue you. Joseph did not save Egypt with a vision board. He built storehouses. Genesis 41 shows a 20% rule in a famine. Set a runway target, 3 months of your operating expenses as a minimum, 6 months as a goal. Write that down and circle it. Runway is governance. Make a stop leak list tonight, 3 recurring expenses you will cut or renegotiate this week. Assign every dollar a job at the beginning of the month. Value creation, distribution, runway, owner pay, tax. If you don't give money orders, money joins the rebellion. Proverbs 21:20 says, there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spends it up. You are not foolish, you are a governor. Your relationships. Subdue is not cruelty, it is clarity. Who gets your ear? Proverbs 13:20 declares, he that walks with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Make 3 lists: counselors, collaborators, and consumers. Counselors can correct you because they love your destiny. Give them scheduled access. Collaborators help you build. Meet weekly with an agenda. Consumers want what you produce. Serve them with systems, not with your soul. And then the 4th group, confusers. Mute them. Stop giving critics front row seats to a play they didn't pay to attend. Write it down. I will curate my counsel and quarantine my confusion. Your information diet. Here is your vision filter. Every piece of content must answer one question. Does this help me build, or does it just help me worry? If it doesn't help you build, you are eating anxiety disguised as awareness. Unsubscribe to 5 feeds that train your eyes to panic. Subscribe to 3 channels that train your hands to produce. Replace doom scroll with skill scroll. 30 minutes of study on your craft, your market, your systems. Nehemiah rebuilt with a sword in one hand and a trowel in the other, building and boundary at the same time. Nehemiah 4:17. Keep the wall rising while the noise keeps talking. Let me pastor you gently but firmly. The outrage economy makes money when you are angry and unproductive. The comparison economy makes money when you are impressed and inactive. But the kingdom economy multiplies when you are focused and faithful. Write this down. I refuse to be a free employee of someone else's algorithm. Say it out loud. I will not feed fear and starve vision. Again, tell your neighbor, close the gates. Now, I will give you governance moves you can execute this week. Schedule consumption windows. Choose exact times for news and social. Put them on your calendar. Set app limits to enforce it. No phone in the first hour and last hour of your day. Put it in another room and buy an alarm clock like a grown ruler. Weekly planning ritual. Sunday evening, 15 minutes. Review goals. Select 3 big rocks for the week. Block your CEO hours, confirm meetings, and pre-decide your distractions. If someone asks you for Tuesday morning and it is marked fruitful, you already have an answer. I have a commitment. Your future is the commitment. Financial runway target. Calculate monthly operating expense, rent, tools, team, production, your grocery bill. Multiply by 3. That number is your first goal. Automate a weekly transfer into a runway account. Name the account Subdue Fund. Every time you send money there, you are building peace. Daily creation quota. Pick your fruit building number. Write us 500 words before inbox. Sell us 10 outbound invitations before feeds. Build us 1 standard or SOP improvement before messages. Artist 30 minutes on your craft before commentary. Track the streak. Reward the streak. Vision filter question posted at your desk. Does this help me build or just help me worry? Circle build or worry in real time. If it's worry, walk away with dignity. Relationship. Governance. Schedule a monthly call with your top counselor. A weekly 30-minute build session with your collaborator. Institute office hours for consumers. Mute unproductive group chats for 30 days and observe your peace rise. Let me show you how Subdue looks in a life. Keisha, a fashion designer with faith and fire, woke every day baptized in bad news. She would fix her eyes on headlines, then on competitors' feeds, and by noon she felt small. We said governance, no phone till after 9 a.m. Bible, sketch, sew, then browse. 2 social windows. Sunday planning with a product calendar. A Subdue Fund, pulling $150 weekly. She taped the filter question on a wall. In 60 days, anxiety dropped, prototypes increased, and she launched a capsule collection on schedule. The same month the market shook, her orders steadied because Subdue precedes dominion. Owen, a contractor, lived in reactive chaos, late calls, random jobs, leaky profits. We blocked CEO hours, installed a weekly planning ritual, gave each dollar a job, built a 3-month runway in 20 weeks by cutting subscriptions and pricing by a rule, and muted the buddy-buddy freebies. He created before he consumed one quote template, improved each morning. When a big builder called with a disrespectful deadline, he said no with peace. Why? Runway is governance. He chose what to do instead of being owned by what he owed. I want you to hear scripture like a coach in your ear. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. Psalm 141:3. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Proverbs 25:28. He that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. A city without walls invites plunder. A mind without gates invites panic. Build your walls so your vision can host a feast inside. Here is your 7-day Subdue sprint. Day 1, uninstall one app that steals your morning and set your consumption windows. Write them and share with a friend. Day 2, calculate your monthly operating expense and set your Subdue Fund auto transfer. Day 3, schedule your CEO hour every weekday for the next 4 weeks. Day 4, write your daily creation quota on a sticky note. Post it on your screen. Do it before you check messages. Day 5, run your relationship audit counselors, collaborators, consumers, confusers, then mute 2 confusers for 30 days. Day 6, clean your information diet. Unsubscribe from 5 noise sources. Subscribe to 3 skill sources. Day 7, conduct a 30-minute review. What calmed, what produced, what to adjust, then recommit for another 7 days. Repeat for 90 days until peace becomes your culture, not a weekend. Say it with me. I will not feed fear and starve vision. Again, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue. You are not a victim of your feeds. You are a governor of your gates. And while the world is shaking and shouting, your inputs will be quiet, your outputs will be steady, and your future will keep building on schedule. This is not personality, this is principle. God does not multiply confusion. He governs chaos and then he blesses. Write it down. When I subdue, God can trust me with dominion. Now tighten your gates and get back to your future. Now that your gates are guarded, Hear the next command like a drum beat from the beginning. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Write that down. Dominion is not noise. Dominion is mastery. Dominion is stability. When you master a niche so distinctly that the market thinks of you first, even when everything else is shaking. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings." Diligent in what? Not everything. His business, his lane, his domain. Tell your neighbor, I'm about to pick my lane. Let me define dominion for the marketplace so your spirit and your strategy agree. Dominion is consistent first call status in a defined domain because of undeniable excellence and a recognizable signature. Write that down. Dominion is when people don't shop around. They call around until they reach you. Dominion is when storms come and your bookings don't bow because you are not a commodity, you are a category. James 1-8 warns, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Dominion is the cure for that instability. Single-minded, skill deep, results proven. Here is the whopper question, and I want you to let it interrogate everything you do. What do you master so well they think of you first? Everybody sells burgers. Burger King sells a Whopper. Are you hearing me? McDonald's sells fast consistency. Burger King said, we flame grill. We have a Whopper. That is signature. Write it down. Signature beats similarity. What is your signature problem and your signature solution? Say it with me. What's my Whopper? Look at Tiger Woods. Millions play golf. Tiger mastered a domain inside a domain, the first to the range, last to leave, putts in the dark, and the market thought of him first. He didn't try cricket, tennis, soccer, and golf every quarter. He picked grass and dominated it. Daniel 6-3 declares, then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. Excellence is not general. Excellence is precise. Oprah doesn't just talk. She masters soul-level conversation in a global living room. You mention empathy-driven interviews, and the market thinks Oprah. Dominion. So stop this foolishness of changing your major every year. Are you hearing me? Stop rebranding every new moon. Stop printing a new business card every time your emotions get rained on. Sight makes you pivot with panic. Vision forces you to refine with patience. Write that down. Sight pivots. Vision perfects. Ecclesiastes 9, 10 commands. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Not halfway, not part-time passion. With your might, focus, repeatable, measurable. Now, I'm going to give you the mastery map in 4 words. Audience, problem, promise, proof. Say it. Again. Audience. Who specifically are you for? Not everybody with a pulse. Choose a people. Teen athletes with knee pain. Remote managers who drown in inboxes. New moms who want sleep without guilt. Pick a tribe so your language can be precise. Problem. What recurring pain do they groan about at least once a week? Name it in their words so they feel understood. Promise. What concrete time-bound result will you deliver without fluff? Back to 5K in 6 weeks without cortisone. Inbox is 0 in 10 days with a 1-5-minute-a-day method. Baby sleeps 6 hours by night, 14. Proof. What evidence, process, or testimonial shows you can do it again and again? Before and afters, case studies, quantified metrics, recorded sessions, your why it works method, audience, problem, promise, proof. This is the lane. Write it down like a covenant. Let me give you a live example. Maria was a generalist nutritionist, starving in a buffet business. When we asked her Whopper question, we discovered she had a quiet gift helping nurses working night shifts stop the 2 a.m. crash. Audience, night shift nurses, problem, chronic crash and weight gain from chaotic cortisol. Promise, crash-free nights in 21 days without caffeine overload. Proof, a protocol with meal timing, light exposure, and micronutrient ratios, plus 8 nurses who wrote testimonies with before and after lab numbers. We branded her the night nurse nutritionist. In a shaking economy, hospitals cut contracts, but nurses still texted one name, Maria. Why? Signature beats similarity. Here's another. Jamal was a contractor chasing random roofs. We pressed the Whopper question. He chose hail damage claim rescue for single moms and retirees, 2 neighborhoods, 1 pain, insurance confusion, audience defined, problem clear. I don't know if they'll cover it, and I don't know who to trust. Promise, approval or advice in 72 hours with 0 pressure guidance. Proof, a documented process, 3 case studies, a homeowner's checklist, and a storm calendar he updated monthly. When clouds gathered, the phones in his city rang, but the first phone that rang was his. That is dominion. Write this sentence and make it your vow for the next season. I only do X for Y to achieve Z by N with P. X is your craft, Y is your people, Z is your promise, N is your time frame, P is your process name. Say it out loud. Again. That's your Whopper. Put it on your website, on your email signature, on your proposal, on your refrigerator. You are not everything. You are essential in one thing. Let me warn you with love. In uncertain times, indecision becomes a lifestyle. We call it experimenting. Heaven calls it instability. Double-minded means double-branded, double-exhausted, and half-funded. The market does not trust a pilgrim that keeps moving tents. The market follows a pillar fire by night, cloud by day, consistent direction. Pick your domain and dominate it. Tell your neighbor, pick your domain and dominate it. Say it like a ruler. Stop adding 3 new services because you got bored. Boredom is not a strategy. Mastery is. But doctor, won't I miss opportunities? Opportunities are loud. Assignment is specific. When you master your assignment, the right opportunities line up, because kings detest guesswork. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Notice, not his gifts, plural. His gift, identify it, refine it, brand it, guard it, multiply it, distribute it, subdue your scope, have dominion in your niche. Now let's make this painfully practical. Because dominion is not emotion, it is execution. In the next 72 hours, choose one audience you will serve for the next 90 days. Yes, I said 90, not 9. 90. Choose one problem you will solve for them repeatedly. Choose one promise you can keep every week, not sometimes. Gather 3 proofs, testimonials, screenshots, numbers, or a live demo. Give your process a name. When your process has a name, your market has a handle to hold. Then cut the menu. Remove offerings that do not serve that promise. If it doesn't aim at your dominion, it is a distraction begging for rent from your calendar. Dominion has a scent called first. First thought, first call, first trust, first wallet. You become first by becoming clear. You become first by becoming excellent. You become first by becoming boring in your consistency and brilliant in your results. Daniel had an excellent spirit, not a viral spirit, excellent, and excellence compounds. Luke 16:10 assures, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Do the small signature with so much might that kings find you in the earthquake. Let me pastor your ego for a second. Many of you hide behind variety because mastery exposes you to measurement. If I choose a lane, I can be graded. Good, be graded. Measurement is mercy. Scores tell you where to sharpen. Feedback is fertilizer. Dominion is not a miracle. It's a metric response time, success rate, repeat purchase rate, referral percentage, price elasticity. When your numbers strengthen, your storm wobble weakens. Write it down. Metrics are the muscles of dominion. And for those who still fear being too narrow, hear me. Focus does not reduce you. It reveals you. The Amazon rainforest is vast. But the Amazon company began with books, one niche, one promise. The world's largest bookstore. Then they dominated logistics, then cloud. Be fruitful first, then multiply. Dominion does not start wide, it starts crisp. Say it again. What's my Whopper? I want you to declare this over your life like a decree. I was born to master something. I am not a wandering generality. I am a meaningful specific. My gift makes room for me. Kings will call my name. I will pick my domain and dominate it in Jesus' name. Now write it down. Audience, problem, promise, proof. Post it where your eyes cannot escape it. Introduce yourself by it. Organize your week by it. Train your team by it. Decline distractions by it. And while the world is shaking, your phone will still ring because the market knows exactly what to call you for. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Dominion is stability. The storm may be loud, but mastery is louder. What do you master so well, they think of you first? Answer it with your work. Answer it with your weeks. Answer it with your whopper. And may kings find you in the quake because you were finally faithful in your niche. If dominion is the crown, identity is the root. Storms don't break crowns first, they test roots. Hear me as a father and a coach. Your future is built by who you believe you are. Producers build in storms because their identity is not negotiable. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Identity governs activity. You don't rise to the level of your intentions, you fall to the level of your identity and your disciplines. Write that down. Let me draw a line in the sand between two kinds of people walking the same streets. Consumers and producers. Consumers look for discounts, producers look for needs. Consumers ask, who is having a sale? Producers ask, who is having a problem? Every problem is a business. Say it again. Every problem is a business. Genesis 1:28 did not say be needy. It said be fruitful. Fruitful means productive. Turn your seed into something we can touch, taste, test, and transact. Ephesians 2:10 declares, we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. You are not an accident roaming aisles. You are an answer walking into assignments. Deploy versus employ. Let me correct your vocabulary, because words shape worlds. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed. Employed is not evil, it's training. Employment is a classroom. Deployment is your calling. Treat your job like a paid internship to study systems, customer service, and cash flow. Extract wisdom, build skill, stack your subdue fund, and then deploy your gift to your lane. Moses learned administration in Pharaoh's house before he led Israel. David learned kingdom protocols in Saul's palace before he sat on his own throne. Write this down. I am not stuck, I am in school. And graduation is deployment. Identity is not a feeling. It is a script you repeat until your schedule obeys it. Romans 12:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing is rewriting. So let's rewrite. Say this with me like a decree. I am necessary. Again. I am a solution. I was born to produce. My gift will make room for me. I am God's answer to a need he created. I deploy by design, not by accident. 2 Timothy 1:7 reinforces the script. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Power to produce, love to serve, a sound mind to systemize. Now, identity must change behavior in public, or it is inspiration only. Producers have different calendars, different carts, different conversations. Consumers collect opinions. Producers collect orders. Consumers binge. Producers build. Write that down. My calendar is my confession. If you call yourself a producer, then each day must have a production block an hour where fruit grows. You already named your CEO hour. Now name your producer hour too. Bible, build, then browse. And do not buy tools before you birth a product. Say with me. Buy after produce, not before produce. Let me make the bridge concrete so you can walk across it this week. Identity must become a schedule, a product, a pitch, and a system. Schedule. Rename your mornings, not checking messages. Call them fruit hours. Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Fruit first. Post it. Guard it. During fruit hours, you are not learning, you are producing. Draft the guide, record the module, bake the batch, design the prototype. No audience? Build the asset anyway. Noah built the ark while it was sunny. Product. Choose one problem your audience complains about weekly, then ship one fruit in 14 days. Not perfect present. If you are a designer, deliver a 3-template starter pack. If you are a fitness coach, deliver a 2-week reset with grocery lists and video demos. If you are a baker, launch a signature box with your story card. Price it with honor. Proverbs 10:4 says, He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Diligence has a price tag. Pitch. Write a 10-sentence pitch that names the pain, states the promise, and invites a decision. I help night shift nurses end the 2 a.m. Crash in 21 days without caffeine overload using my night shift reset. Would you like to review the protocol or join the next cohort? Short, clear, repeatable. Practice until your mouth can say it when your emotions feel shy. Daniel 11:32 says, the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Exploits require a mouth that moves. System. Systemize one part of your delivery every week. A checklist, a template, a welcome email, a feedback form. Name your process so it becomes an asset. The inbox is zero method. The 5-minute mom meal framework. The flame grill finish. Whatever your lane commands. Systems create peace for you and trust for them. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, it is He that gives you power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant. Power is the capacity to create repeatable results. Let me pastor your imagination with a story. Aisha lived in a noisy apartment and kept losing focus during remote meetings. She complained for months. Then identity spoke. Every problem is a business. She produced a quiet kit, a low-cost bundle with noise-absorbing panels, a desk light, and a focused routine card she wrote. Fruit in a box. She wrote a pitch to her building manager. Help your residents work in peace without renovations. Our quiet kit installs in 15 minutes. The manager ordered 25 kits, then 2 more buildings. Aisha didn't wait for the city to quiet down. She became the quiet. That is producer identity under pressure. Now confront the old scripts directly. I can't because the market is slow. Producers say slow markets expose needs louder. I don't have time. Producers say my time obeys my vision. I'm not ready. Producers shift and refine in motion. Write this down. Readiness is a result, not a prerequisite. Isaiah 60:2 says, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee. Darkness is not your excuse, it's your backdrop. Practical identity anchors you can install tonight. Change the lock screen on your phone to read, I am a producer fruit first. Rename your bank sub-accounts. Fruit Fund, Replenish Fund, Subdue Fund, Dominion Fund. Every transfer is a confession. Rename your calendar blocks with your promise. Help 10 moms get 6 hours of baby sleep, not work. Script your out of office to protect fruit hours. I'm in production, I reply after 1 p.m. Print your pitch and tape it near your camera and set an alarm named deploy twice a day, reminding you to send one pitch and build one system. Small marks make large identities. Let me add a gentle rebuke drenched in love. Stop collecting courses like souvenirs. Produce something we can buy. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. Say it again. And stop waiting for universal affirmation. Producers are often mocked until harvest. When your fruit feeds a city, the critics develop a taste for your recipe. I want to lead you in a final declaration that will become a daily rehearsal. Say it strong. I am necessary. I am a solution. I was born to produce. My gift will make room for me. I am deployed, not just employed. I refuse to be a professional consumer. I turn problems into products, pain into processes, and needs into niches. My calendar confesses my calling. My systems protect my promise. My fruit will multiply, replenish, subdue, and host dominion, even while the world is shaking, in Jesus' name. Now hear my charge. In the next 72 hours, let identity become visible. Block your fruit hours. Choose one problem. Ship one simple fruit. Speak one clear pitch to 10 people. Build one small system. That's not motivation, that's manifestation. Your identity is the engine. Your schedule is the rails. Your product is the train. Your pitch is the whistle. And your system is the timetable that keeps it running on time. When we step into the next movement, we will shape a 90-day commissioning plan so your producer identity becomes your culture. Until then, deploy yourself. The storm is a stage. An identity is the script. Produce. Now we move from confession to construction. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Vision is written so movement can happen. Proverbs 29:18 warns, where there is no vision, the people perish. But where there is a written, measured, rehearsed vision, people run and storms become scenery. Write this down. When you turn vision into a 90-day plan, the shaking becomes background noise and your future becomes inevitable. Say it. Here is your 90-day plan. Simple, focused, ruthless, one fruit, one system, one channel, one discipline, one domain. Say it again. This is Genesis 1:28 operationalized. Be fruitful, one fruit. Multiply, one system. Replenish, one channel. Subdue, one discipline. Have dominion, one domain. This is not motivational sugar. This is the sequence that keeps you building while the world trembles. Tell your neighbor, I'm about to run this sequence. One fruit. Choose the single tangible product your audience can buy in the next 14 days. A starter course, a signature box, a 2-1-day protocol, a workshop with workbook, a done with you sprint. Name it, price it, and set a delivery date you cannot cancel. Version 1 by day 14. Version 2 by day 30. Version 3 by day 60. Signature version by day 90. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. Produce something. One system. Document how you deliver that fruit so it repeats without mood swings. A checklist. A template set. A standard call script. A fulfillment. SOP, a why it works method with a name. Multiply is not more of you, it is more of the system. One channel. Pick a single distribution lane to carry your fruit to your people for 90 days without cheating. Email, newsletter, WhatsApp broadcast, LinkedIn posts and DMs, Instagram reels, or weekly webinars. A vision that cannot travel, cannot transform. One discipline. Subdue your inputs so your outputs are predictable. No news before noon. Phone in another room during food hours. Bedtime at 10 p.m. Or a strict Bible. Build, then browse. Order. You cannot build a future with a mind governed by the present. Subdue. One domain. Commit to the precise niche you declared: audience, problem, promise, proof, and refuse menu creep. Dominion requires a lane. Now let's put time to this. Day 1, 14, prototype and proof. Deliver version 1 to 10 people. Offer a founder's price with a feedback promise. Collect 3 testimonials, 2 screenshots, and 1 quantified win. Day 15-30, refine and record. Integrate feedback. Stabilize your method and record the core assets, videos, guides, templates, so delivery is consistent. Day 3160, system and scale. Build the onboarding sequence. Automate touch points. Schedule your channel content for 4 weeks and train 1 helper or virtual assistant on your SOP. Day 6190, replenish and govern. Lock your distribution cadence. Track your numbers. Adjust pricing to reflect proof. Prune distractions and publish your first call positioning so your market knows your whopper. Be fruitful. Multiply, replenish, subdue, dominion, measurable commitments. Write this down and make it law for 90 days. Creation, 12 food hours per week, Monday to Friday, 8:10:30 a.m. with 1 30-minute break. Distribution, 3 days a week. Your chosen channel gets 1 value post, 1 story, and 5 personal invitations or DMs, 15 weekly invitations minimum. Sales, 2 live conversations per week minimum, Zoom, phone, or in-person book from your channel. Feedback, 5 user check-ins per week with 3 fixed questions. What worked? What confused? What result? Proof. Gather 3 new pieces of evidence weekly: testimonial, screenshot, metric, or case study. Skill: 5 hours per week of mastery practice in your domain drills, research, or coaching, not random browsing. Runway: set a weekly revenue target equal to your monthly essential expenses divided by 4 plus 20% for growth. Bank rules: every sale allocates 50% to operations and salary, 20% to replenish fund distribution and ads, 10% to subdue fund, tools and governance, not toys, 10% to dominion fund, skill and brand assets, 10% to generosity and margin. Money follows order. Order follows vision. Now build your vision routine, because sight will attempt to kidnap your schedule every morning. Morning vision review, 12 minutes before any inbox. Read your written vision aloud. Read Genesis 1. 28 Habakkuk 2. State your promise to your audience. Review yesterday's scoreboard. Invitations sent. Conversations held. Conversions won. Testimonials captured. Pray: Lord, govern my mind. Then fruit first, no messages before making. Midday reset, 2 minutes. Ask: have I produced, invited, and followed up? If not, do it now. Evening audit, 5 minutes. Record your numbers. Gratitude for wins. Identify tomorrow's single critical action. Weekly evaluation, 1 hour, same time every week. Review your KPIs. Reach, response rate, conversion rate, fulfillment time, satisfaction scores, refund rate, cash position. Ask: what will I stop, start, and strengthen? Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Might requires measurement. Write that down. Metrics are mercy. Expect resistance. Sight will magnify fear because it is loyal to the present headlines, bill notices, trolls, and tiredness. When sight screams, go to your vision routine. Do not negotiate with moods. Execute your sequence. On shaky days, enact the 3. Chip point rescue: pray, produce, pitch. 5 minutes of scripture and breath. Ship 1 micro deliverable a page, a slide, a module, a call. Send 5 invitations. Action reacquaints your soul with authority. 2 Timothy 1-7 reminds us God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Power to produce. Love to serve your audience. A sound mind to systemize your promise. Let me pastor your hope. Your seed is valid. Your future is possible. Your environment is not your master. Remember, Joseph sold into Egypt, but his gift scheduled his promotion. Remember, Daniel exiled, but excellence created preference. Darkness may cover the earth, Isaiah 60:2 says, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Your plan is the lampstand his glory sits on. Put it on a stand. Now the commissioning. For the next 90 days, you will live this sentence: I only do X for Y to achieve Z by N with P. That is your North Star. You will deliver 1 fruit in 14 days and improve it 3 times. You will build 1 system until a trained helper can run it without you for a day. You will choose 1 channel and show up there every week without apology. You will subdue 1 input that steals your production. You will hold 1 domain and refuse 3 temptations to add new services. You will carry a scoreboard, not a mood board. You will make storm-proof progress while others refresh the news. Let's see it with our mouths, because faith speaks before it sees. Say this: I will build what I was born to build no matter what the news says. Again, louder. I will build what I was born to build no matter what the news says. Say, my eyes describe the storm, but my vision decides my direction. Say, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. This is my operating system. Say, I produce 1 fruit. I build 1 system. I master 1 channel. I enforce 1 discipline. I dominate 1 domain. Now I pray over you as your coach and your brother. Father, in the name of Jesus, breathe upon every seed in this room. Let dormant ideas sprout under the weight of a measured plan. Give them the spirit of power to produce, love, to serve their people, and a sound mind to systemize. Let their mornings be governed by vision, their afternoons by courage, and their evenings by gratitude. Set angels on the routes of distribution. Favor them with first call status in their lane. Let testimonies multiply, jobs created, families fed, clients transformed, nations replenished. We rebuke the paralysis of sight and embrace the discipline of vision, establish their steps, steady their hands, and crown their dominion. And now your final charge. Write the vision tonight. Announce your fruit date. Block your 12 fruit hours. Schedule your weekly evaluation. Pick your one channel and post your promise tomorrow by noon. Invite 15 people this week. Collect 3 proofs. Put your scoreboard on your wall. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed. But today, you are deployed. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. The shaking will not stop, but neither will you. Your future is not fragile. It is focused. Go build what you were born to build, no matter what the news says. Amen.